Hi kids, this is Lindsay. Again, like I promised you, today is Tuesday, and we're going to look at page 165 in our world. So we read the story about Krakatoa. Krakatoa was that giant volcano in Indonesia that exploded, and when it exploded, it made a giant tsunami. Tsunami is a Japanese word. In English, the way to say the word is tidal wave. Tidal wave. Now, we often call it a tsunami. We take the Japanese word, just like when we talk about a typhoon, we take the Chinese word. The English word is hurricane, but we take the Chinese word typhoon. Well, when there's a tidal wave, we will call that a tsunami. So its spelling and the pronunciation is a little strange. They are a little strange because this is a Japanese word. All right, so let's look at page 165. All right, check true and false. Dharma is telling the story. Is that true or false? Well, if you look back at the story, the mother shouted to them, and the mother said, Malati, Dharma, take our hands. So the mother and father were shouting at the kids. So Dharmi is telling the story because her sister is Malati. So the answer for number one is true. We know that because we can see the story. So number two, Malati and Dharma slept at their aunt's house. Now let's check this out. Let's see. When we woke up the next morning, we couldn't see the sun. So that means they spent the whole night at their auntie's house. So yes, true, they slept at their auntie's house. And remember, after that day, they never saw their auntie again. Number three, Malati and Dharma's aunt survived the tsunami. Well, I just told you the answer. She didn't survive this tsunami, and her cousins didn't survive the tsunami either. The tsunami was a wall of water that went into the town, and it probably pulled the people out into the ocean. Number four, a hurricane caused the tsunami. Of course, you know that's not true. Ha ha ha. Always take my medicine. A hurricane didn't cause this tsunami. Hurricanes don't cause tsunamis. Hurricanes can cause lots of things. They can cause bad weather and very strong rain and big winds, but they don't cause tsunamis. They can cause big waves, but not tsunamis. A couple things can cause tsunamis. One of them is an earthquake. In Japan, when they had the tsunami, it was caused by an undersea earthquake. This tsunami in the book we're reading wasn't caused by that. Not really. It was caused by a volcano. And when the volcano erupted, it shook the ground and made a tsunami. You could say the volcano made an earthquake that caused the tsunami, but really it's the volcano that caused the tsunami. Either way, number four is wrong. Is there another thing that can cause a tsunami? There is. Sometimes if a big piece of mountain breaks and falls into the ocean, that could cause a tsunami too. You know, mountains break and fall all the time. If the water is always hitting the bottom of the mountain next to the ocean, sometimes that mountain just falls into the ocean. And when that happens, it can cause a tsunami. So that is called a landslide. A long time ago, we learned about mudslide. Mud is the wet dirt. Mudslides, Taiwan has mudslides. Landslide, mudslides, they can cause tsunamis. So in this one, we know the tsunami was caused by a volcanic eruption. Remember we wrote IC, volcanic eruption? All right, let's read. All right, now we have to put these items in order. And they already did number one for us. There was smoke and light above Krakatoa. They heard loud explosions. Well, what happened next? First there was smoke and light. They woke up, but everything was dark and there were ashes everywhere. That would be number 2. So after they woke up, what happened? Well, they left the town and started climbing the hill. That would be number 3. When they were climbing the hill, suddenly there was a strange silence. That would be number 4. Then number 5, the first tsunami covered the town, right? So there were 2 tsunamis. And then after that happened, their parents found them and pulled them home, right? The word was dragged, D-R-A-G-G-E-D. So their parents dragged them up the hill. So if they had stayed in the town, they would have probably died too. Luckily, Dharma pulled her sister. Dharma dragged her sister because she was scared and she wanted to go home. So luckily, they started running up the hill before the first tsunami hit. They were very lucky. All right, at the bottom, let's read number 1. After the tsunami, Dharma's family faced many problems. Imagine you are a news reporter. Interview the family and write about the family's day after the tsunami. So that would be a very sad thing to interview these people because first they've lost their family. So you would ask about their family. Have you found your family? Do you know where your auntie is? But you could also ask them, what are they going to eat? You know, the volcano sent a lot of ash into the air, and the ash is now covering everything. So they can't grow anything. There's no sunlight. All the vegetables, fields, everything is covered in ash. So they probably need to leave. There's nothing to eat there. If they have some food in the house, they can eat that, but it will not last a long time. It will be a long time before they can grow vegetables. Maybe many of the farm animals have already died. So they probably need to leave this place. Krakatoa re-erupted not long ago. Find another example of a recent volcanic eruption. Do a short presentation for the class. So this person would talk about a volcano that erupted recently. You could go to the internet and you could search volcanic eruptions. And in the news, they will tell you where they are. Now, you might think, oh, there haven't been any volcanic eruptions recently, but that's not right. There's always a volcano erupting somewhere. Maybe not where you're from, maybe not near you, but recently there were some in Japan. There were some in Indonesia. So you could read those news stories about those. And when you stand in front of the class, you could tell them when it happened, where it was, how many people died, if the scientists knew about the volcano before it erupted. So you could find a lot of things online, or you could go to a library too. Number 3, imagine that you are Malati. Retell the story from Malati's point of view. So, in this story, you're not Dharma, you're Malati, the younger sister. And you would probably tell us that you're very scared. Malati is the younger sister, and Dharma is the older sister. And maybe she wanted to stay with her aunt, and it would be safer. But her older sister pulled her away. If you were Malati in that story, you would probably say, oh, my sister was so annoying. I really didn't want to go with her. I was so scared, but she pulled me. And luckily, we were not in the town. So maybe she would be very thankful to her sister because her sister saved her life. So you would tell all about the story from the beginning to the end. What they were doing, why they went there, everything. And then about the eruption. So different people have different views. They have different points of view. My point of view is different than your point of view. Everyone has their own point of view. Everything seems different to you than it does to me. So the last one would be from Melodi's point of view. All right, let's turn the page to page 166. There is a dialogue there, and it's pretty interesting and useful. So let's look at it. No way! I will agree and disagree. I will discuss possibilities. I will ask for opinions. All right. The first girl is Maria, and the next one is Carla. There's also Ivana. So, Maria, Carla, Ivana. Are there any good movies showing tonight, Carla? What does that question mean? That means you show movies at the movie theater. And is the movie theater showing any good movies? Listen to how her sentence is, her question. Are there any good movies showing tonight, Carla? Now, she's talking about the movie theater. And Carla answers, well, there's a comedy. What do you think, guys? In American English, guys can mean boys or girls, or both. Hi, guys. What's going on, guys? Nice to see you, guys. See you later, guys. It doesn't matter if it's boys or girls. All right? No way. Comedies, you see the IES, are silly. So obviously Ivana is not a fan of comedies. What else is there? There's an action film. What do you think? Yes, action films are the best. I suppose so, but sometimes they are too violent. So, Carla, she's okay with an action film, but she hopes it isn't too violent. Violent means you see a lot of blood, people getting killed, even though it's a movie and it's not real. Maybe it's not good for people to watch violent movies. It'll make you feel uncomfortable. Maybe you will have nightmares. Maria says, exactly. Isn't there anything else? So Maria really doesn't like violent TV shows or violent movies. They're not healthy. Maybe they will make you feel sick or they will make you have nightmares. So let's look at it one more time. Are there any good movies showing tonight, Carla? Well, there's a comedy. What do you think, guys? No way. Comedies are silly. What else is there? There's an action film. What do you think? Yes, action films are the best. I suppose so, but sometimes they are too violent. Exactly. Isn't there anything else? So, did the girls decide what to see? No, they can't decide. One person wants to see a comedy, one person wants to see an action film, so they haven't decided what to see. At the bottom, what do you think? And then when you say, what do you think? How about? So for example, I say, let's go out for dinner. And somebody says, what do you think? How about Japanese food? How about Thai food? So that means, what do you think of this idea? How about Chinese food? No way. Definitely not. Exactly. Right. Totally. Yeah, I agree. Definitely. So those are just different ways that we answer questions. We don't just say yes, no, maybe. So if you want your English to be better, you can learn these different ways to answer yes and no. Let's look at them again. No way. Definitely not. Exactly. Exactly means I agree. Right. Right means I agree. Totally. Totally means I totally agree. Yeah, I agree. Very simple, right? But they didn't just say yes or okay. And then the next one, definitely. That means you agree very much. All right. What else is there? Isn't there anything else? And of course, isn't there? The opposite is there. Is there anything else? Really, they mean the same thing. Isn't there anything else? Is there anything else? Anything else? In that sentence, she just asked, anything else? That means, is there anything else to watch? Do you have any other ideas? So all of these are better than I don't know, I'm not sure, you decide, yes, no, okay. Try to have better ways of answering in English. And these are very good to memorize. I suppose so. I guess so. Maybe. Possibly. Those are always in the middle. All right. So we've looked at that. Look at page 167. Our presentation is about. That means that somebody in the class, maybe two people together, because she said our. Our presentation is about a volcano in Japan. So when you stand in front of the class, you will tell the class what your presentation is about. All right. I will introduce ourselves. Sometimes it's not we. If I say, this is John, Mary, and Lindsay, then I introduced us. Now, sometimes we introduce ourselves, but sometimes one person can introduce everyone. I will explain what our presentation is about. I will check with the audience. What does it mean, I will check with the audience? Maybe, how are you? Good afternoon. Good to be here. Is everyone happy? Can everyone hear me? Good. I will get started. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is to get started. All right, let's read it. Gabby and Berto and students. Gabby, Berto, and some students. Hello, everyone. I'm Gabby, and this is Berto. Our presentation is about vacations. Today, we're going to show you our vacation brochure. What is a brochure? Oftentimes in Chinese, we will call that a DM. A brochure, sometimes you fold a brochure and it will introduce a place. So maybe you stayed at Cyril Hotel and you have a brochure and it shows you all the pictures of Cyril Hotel, the swimming pool, the spa, all the restaurants, and that brochure will let you know more about Cyril Hotel. All right, so let's read that again. Today, we're going to show you our vacation brochure. Our talk has two parts. So I'll start. And then Gabby will continue. Can everyone see? Yes. Great. Let's start. And then one student will start part of the presentation, and the other student will continue with the second part of the presentation. So let's look at it. Look at these new words, new ways to say things in English. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lindsay. This is Cinderella. My name's Lindsay. I'd like to present Cinderella, for example. Our presentation is about dinosaurs. Our project is about the solar system. Today we're going to show you a movie about the solar system. Today we're going to present our play about the solar system. Rex can be the moon. Our talk has two parts, first part and second part. Can everyone see? Can everyone hear? Can you all see? Can you all hear? Both are fine. Let's start. Let's get started. I'll start. I'll begin. Or maybe I will say, Cinderella will begin. And I will continue after she finishes. So these are different sentences you can use when you're making a presentation in front of the class. Okay, we've finished. If you look at the next page, it has a list of irregular verbs. Now, I'm not going to read all the irregular verbs, but it would be a good idea before you go to grade 6 to sit down and review those irregular verbs. Let me remind you what irregular verb means. A verb is regular if you just add ed. So if I say cook, cooked, cooked. Cook is a regular verb. When you make the past tense or the present perfect, you just add ed. But an irregular verb would be go. Go, went, gone. Each different part of the verb, the present tense, the past tense, and the present perfect, they're all different. So that is an irregular verb, okay? But even a verb like hit, hit, they're all three the same. But it's irregular too, because you didn't add ed. Adding ed means it's a regular verb. So if you have time, maybe you should sit down and review your verbs on that page.